Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
Like last class, we were talking about how you can do an analytic and action analytic report, but the task was really good. We are not able to process the task. Basically, I saw there was a syntax error or something like that. We talked about that. I didn't get a chance to debug that thing because there were many things going on. I will debug it today and I will come back to you why the task didn't process. If you remember what we did. Let me open the drawer. The actionable analytic report, what we discussed. We discussed in the actionable analytic report. We can create a report on demand basis. What was the demand? Let's say, like the auditing team. If you remember the auditing team, if we are working for a company like, let's say, Xerox company, the Xerox company, they have deployed their saving environment and they have a HMS application which is integrated as a part of your user input, or we call it as a trusted resource. These user was getting on board to your saving system, and saving was able to create their account on different package system based on the need or based on the your technical role configured. Technical role configured right. Let's say this target application was like AD. We talk about right. We talk about right. Your database application right. What is the audit used to came? Let's say from time to time there will be something. Let's say the user ABC was there. He got onboarded to a saving application, right? And in ABC was the users are onboarding to save it. Their account got created in AD as well as in DP and AB. C did a rule and he worked in the company for some of the year. But after working for, let's say, 2 to 3 years, he decided to move the company or to leave the company. Once he leave the company, what HR did, it said mark their account here inactive, right, and the status come to here as inactive. The account is inactive now and the saving system tried to remove their account from AD as well as from DB. But somehow in the DB application the account was still active, but here it is already negative. That might be. Chances is there because of some technical, for something found still might be present in your target system. This is like an orphan account now, right? It's called orphan account. This ABC user. Might be. There is a question will come to What is an orphan account? Account which is present in your target system, but that account is not present in your CV as well as not in your trusted source. That will be called as an orphan account. This Xerox company, right, they are using this CV and they have given auditing purpose with third-party vendor. That vendor, let's say it's a Deloitte. Deloitte is a vending company, right, who is doing the auditing on behalf of Xerox company every quarter wise. Now they would have asked you a report. The user who was like inactive in CV and but inactive in CV and but active in the target system. They need this report basically. For that, right, what we saw, we can run a report, right? That report basically will show you how many users are present in your target system, but they are inactive in analytic report. This kind of report, right, you can prepare and you can run it in your system. If I try to show you an example or another example, how we can create a report, right? I can simply go ahead to your admin right, open this 3-door or directly click on the analytic window in the top right. Click on Create New Analytics. We see version 2 and version 1, right? We discussed also earlier, there was no version 2 first. Version 1 was there, right? This thing. I believe we had already caps in the analytic version 1 and version 2, right? Version 1. Basically, if you click on Create New Analytics, you can create using SQL query. Basically, all this SQL query only. But if you go to the version 2, you will have option to using Elasticsearch query. This Elasticsearch query, what is this Elasticsearch query in the backend? Right? If this is your saving system, right? This saving system, this Elastic model, what we have, it is linking to a different server and this server is helping to fetch the data from the backend database. What we have, your DB, right, for this analytic. In the DB, it is fetching all data using an Elasticsearch query. Elasticsearch. If you use a different server to fetch all the data, let's say you have one lap of record, right, to fetch the data, the server will be reliable. This Elasticsearch. The result will be faster and accurate. That is the purpose, right? We use a separate service for searching of the data that is called Elasticsearch. This Elasticsearch, it is deployed on the server side, right? If I click on Create New Analytics, right, let me do it from using SQL query only because we have the list data. And if I give a name, let's say I want to view the report, right? Would username start with test? Simply, I can write a report. Which user start with test, right? I can give the same description here. Analytic query, I can write a select first name, username, last name from users where first name like. I can give a like command here, I'll give percentage test. This is how I can, write the query. I'm not taking any action here. The action is not required for me category. I can just give the information reference risk. I can write, this is medium risk. And I can click on the preview. It's telling an unexpected error occurred, right? That means some error is there in our query. What you can do to find out the copy the query right, we can run this query against our database. Let's say why it throws the error. The real time, we don't have access to the database. Where do you run the design in the? You will be running this environment. Actually, that is true, real time will not have access. In the admin menu, right? Ideally, if you click on the admin menu right under your admin function, right or here, actually there will be application log, right? No. Sorry, there will be data analyzer. Man will be here, data analyzer. Let me show you that. Where do you run? Let me show you a new thing today, right? That is your access to some of your campaign order property. Why you run the campaign, right? What is the requirement of the campaign? Let's have a look. We'll be covering the topic right now is campaign, right? What is this campaign? Basically, campaign allows you to run right. Campaign allows you to run multiple certification. Multiple certification in the sense if you talk about I can run a campaign. 100. Why this campaign is needed? Right. Let's say in time to time, if that is a manager, that manager name is, let's say, cable right under cable. There are 100 employees working, or basically this 100 employee reporting to cable right. These 100 employee, what access they have to the traffic system? Let's say we have the system add and database right. This 100 employee, what access they have to the Active Directory or to TV application? Let's say in TV application you have to write. That is your flow. And another one is we have flow manager right. What entitlement is provisioned the user A, B, C, or what entitlement is provisioned to the XYZ user? That time right. Or what is the application has like? Say which account does it have, like DB account or AD account, to view the details. Manager simply can run a campaign and he will get the output rate and he can take action. Let's say if this ABC user doesn't require access to DB, simply he can, the provision access. If this XZ doesn't require access to any, he can simply the provision access. These things we can configure in here at the system. That is your campaign model, campaign right. If I write the one line of note, what is a campaign? This one? It happened. I have to go in. What I can write? Write it, talk about like camp. That certification. Or I can write we a number of set key addition. We can bundle up together and we call it as a campaign. We user manager, right? Entitlement, mostly right. We used to run 3 type of campaign. One is your user manager. One is your role owner. One is your entitlement owner. Let's see how we can run a campaign. If you click on the address in the new model, right, you will have this. Create new option or not with that. This is for attestation. That is a whole concept will directly camping right. If you click on the campaign, it will allow you option to create a campaign. Click on this create campaign right. I can give a campaign. Let's say I'll give user manager. Before that, let me choose a manager first, for whom will be launching the campaign, and he will view the access of right. He will view the access of his recording. If I go to the user, say a manager, the Z00526 right, opened. User, this is his username. She has a valid email. Let me copy this manager. For this manager will launch the campaign. Right. I'll mention the campaign name as user manager. Campaign owner, I'm giving. I mean as the owner person who was logged in. He's the owner of the campaign. And I choose the user manager campaign. And for which application you want to turn on, I'll be mentioning is all specific application. Also, you can run like your ad or any application specific again. I'm leaving like that. Object to include for the certification. I'm simply mentioning account and entitlement. Only I want to review. Account and entitlement. Number of days to expire the campaign. Basically, and how many days the campaign will expire. Let's say today the campaign learns right. If it will be active only for 10 days. After 10 days the campaign will get expired. If anyone want to take action, they can take action within the bad thing I can mention right. It is also giving some other countries and health information. Where if there is any account doesn't have right enough. User doesn't have any account. You want to include that or not? That specific thing I can mention here. That thing we can mention like first step, second day. We'll come to that, but right where it will be view. The sleep is as of now. And if you scroll down, this is little older version. That's why the version will be totally different in the new version. You will see, instead of this menu, you will have like employment verification. I'll show that also. And let me just configure it how to look. I'll show you. I'm not attending any email template because we do not have in the real-time email template. We cannot do that. If you scroll down to the down right, what I am doing, I'm leaving all this thing as empty and coming down. In the select setup, who will take the action? Basically, the action will be taken by manager. I'll be selecting. Select a setup from the list. Basically, I'll mention this. Like I want to learn this certification for a particular manager. After giving the ID, let me search. I found this site. I'm simply selecting it. And after mentioning that, I'm going to the advanced configuration. In the advanced configuration, even I can control it. Let's say in the advanced configuration, right, I can control. Let's say I want to run the campaign only for a particular manager, or I'll say the manager will belongs to India. That query, or sorry, this is not the manager. This is for the user basically under the manager. Let's say that manager, there is 20 reportees there. Some of them are reporting from India and some of them are reporting from your US side. That time I can simply learn the campaign for the people who belongs to India. Simply I can mention like equal to. In this open bracket I can mention like India. This will be applicable only the people or the employee who belongs to India. These query right, I can give it. Basically, this is also real right. What kind of account like you can want to mention it? If I will give like any account name who has like start with test that I can mention. All these are very right, it included. For a purpose, if I go in right now, I'll click it. Create now right. Let's see. What happened now? If I click clear now, the campaign will get greater right. And the campaign is being launched. To load the campaign, it will take a little time if I go ahead and click on the all right. You see this user manager campaign right. This is started on June 27th. And the campaign name is user manager. I get the name. It is in progress because still it is not completed. And it is showing at the start date and the end date. See, there is a button also reconfigure it. What does it mean? If you want to create a similar campaign, you can simply take on the reconfigure all the configuration what I have done for this campaign. We can realize it again. If I simply can reconfigure it and click on this. See, it is coming with a different name. I can give a different name. All the setting whatever it was there, right? It will be with that particular, all the campaign. Simply I'll cancel and I'll go to campaign again. And this campaign will launched. Now, if you click on the simply campaign name, click on the campaign name right. See, we launch only one certificate. That is for a single manager if you remember for this user right. For this manager, he is a manager I'm launching for him only. And the certificate name, it will be like user manager for this user. Let me open this. You see there is two windows. First is employment verification. Basically, it is asking under the user right. This user or this manager, how many employees were working, that you will see under here. See almost 14 employees there who are working under him. You can click here like bulk action boxes that you can create. Click on this right. How you can take action, employee status. I can mention like this still work for me or doesn't work for me. Let's say within the campaign launch, right, somebody who are there. You know they are not working for you like this exactly. He's not working anymore for you. And other employee right. I can mention they are working for me. Works for me. I can mention here this guy. He works for me. You have to take action for each user and who are working under you unless you select all the user or take action. The campaign right, it won't close or it won't frost it further. Like, let me give this works. Works for me. And I'll click works for me. And I click works for me. See, ideally, I shouldn't take action from here. I'm just leaving it like that. I'll also show you the real time how the campaign will get access. I'm just leaving this campaign right. I'm clicking on the again, set a brand right, still it is in progress, right? I have 5% only take action. I'll not take further action. This campaign was launched for which user 500G00526, right? Let me log in as is that user. Only then I can show you the clear picture. I'll go to the incognito window. Let me log in here. Give the username. I'm looking at the manager user right. I believe I have already set the password for this future. That worked right. I log in as a user right now. I'm a manager. I do not have any other access. You don't see here like your analytic report or anything, right? If you click here this button, you can see the request, whatever was pending with me. And here you will see. The attestation, right? If I go to the attestation. If I go to all right. The attestation, access is not there actually. Why it is not there? There is a problem with the accessibility. Basically, the access is required for this user to have the attestation view right. It doesn't have actually. That's why it is not viewing. I don't see anything like pending or assigned to me right. It would have shown here in a proper environment. It will be the same way. The view, it will be if I go to attestation, right? And it will be listed for me like what campaign learns for me. Same way, right how I am viewing here. It will be the same way. I will log in as an admin instead of admin that user and open here. And then I have to take the action. Let me choose it works for me. Works for me. Works for me. These thing right. It is not coming because there are no proper request map is involved. That's why it is not viewing. I'll do one thing. I'll be assigning all the requests map actually. Then only it will be viewed. It will be viewed for the user. This path you see right. If I open this path right, I'm in the campaign model. It's telling what campaign key or campaign access it is required. It doesn't have for that user. I'll come back to that minute. Let me take the action, then I'll come back to that. I'll click on the works for me. Let me take the. This is the by default. I have assigned this manager right. Actually, admin cannot have any manager. It's a simple separate user. To use the only admin right. That's why but already have assigned as a manager. It is coming as you can ignore the first record. No response, it is required. Now, if you go back right, right here. Here, actually you can view what access they have and what access you want to be with them. Let's say out of that user rate, I see some has access to this. Active Directory accessible application, all application review is your right. Already computers. And Active Directory applications similar to our image. If I feel right now these people doesn't require any access here, I can simply remove it. I'll mark it as this person doesn't record access to this application. Or if I go back right, but this 258 account, he has 3 to 4 accounting. Like a civil application activity, I can mention. Yes, he required access for the sector directory. I know I'm very confident about it. I can write, I can certify the access. This thing is now certified right. And same way I can take for any other user. Let's say I see another user, this user rate. We saw about, let me go to the second one. Alright, this RPT test user rate. He has an Active Directory account. I can simply mark it as he doesn't record any access. I can certify it. This way you are going to start to buy use and every employee working under you. And after you take all the decision rate and all the account you can launch, you can click on the finish. That's a civil. See, it won't allow you not to do that because you have not taken any action until you see. Still 76 items are pending for me. Out of the 80, I have taken only 8. Or like enough for action I have taken. Still you have to take 76 action. Right? That is why in the real time, this book checkbox right. It will be disabled for you. Otherwise blindly you can select everything. And certified into. This is not allowed in the real time. Bulk tick box will not be allowed for you. See now what I did. I bulk check everything and I took the action. Blindly I did right. Did I verify anything like actually this user to fight? If user does have this need base account or not? It required or not? I didn't say anything. But blindly I took the action going through the bulk. This was also, you can write visible it while configuring the campaign itself. Now, once I've taken the action, I click on the finish access. I had to be completely there telling pending items still there for 53. Maybe in the other end, right here. It is not there right in that window. Again, I have to select all things just to complete the campaign. I click on everything. And I said remove. And once I'm on remove. Again, I believe I have to put the fourth window. And here also have to take the action. Click everything. And make sure register to play and they need the access. That's why I'm marking as a certified. After you mark countdown, there is no rate. If I click now finish access, you do. Still, it is laying another 23 item at the somewhere. Still, it is there the first. And its a bit is not there. I click anything. Certify. All the people could fit the right. I think it is completely loud. Let's see. It's really pending and I'm 0 pending. Item money employment very efficient. Still one is there. That is why it is not allowing me. If I go back right. In the employment very efficient. All are ready to submit. But this admin user is there. I'm not able to certify for him. Let me do that from here actually. For that, if I go to next, and I'll prevent it, and it's done, right? And it's actually still, how come it is feeling? And then ending item. Let me mark it as 100. Or the count will be displayed here. See, some are done, some are still there. What are there? These windows are not saved actually. Up to here. All under the same, set up by all the under now. After certifying everything, right now if I scroll down, go to finish access, really mad is still insane. And now it is coming. You can lock the certificate as you have taken all the external, simply if you click on this. The certification in the finish file. Carefully executed. At a certain level, once your job and write certification job. These will move right from your in progress to complete. This is like, you know how you can configure a campaign for a user manager. Even we saw the option right. How you can, configure it for the bulk thing and everything. These are the like in progress, right? Even I can reconfigure the campaign, the older campaign. If I do that right, if you search down right, search for it, bulk right. It is selling hired bulk check bus from step 1. If you remember, in the step 1 or step 2, I was able to. Bulk second take action right. If you simply mark it as a hide right now, you cannot take any bulk action in the campaign. All these things are configurable. Everything, what you see there, right? You can control it from here. In the same way, I can also launch a campaign for entitlement owner. How I can do that if I go to admin? Let me open it. Go to the security system right. In the security system, let me open the DB application. It was the application name that I was training. See, right, this database training, see. Let me go to the demo application. I could do it to demo. Here, if you go to endpoint, right? In the endpoint, we had a lot of and that right. If you go to entitlement, we heard something called floor manager which we created. This floor manager, if you open this entitlement, right? If you go scroll down, right? If you go to account, you see there are 9 users who are a part of the center, right? Now I'll be reviewing as an owner of this entitlement. If you go, there is no owner assigned. Still now write for this entitlement. Simply go ahead, right? I don't know. Who will be the owner here? I'll be assigning. I mean as a owner for this. This user I'm not saying is admin. And I'm giving here the rank. I'm very static. See, the purpose is to assign a winner. It's very simple. If I want to launch a campaign for this flow manager and this entitlement doesn't have anyone, then what is the point of launching a campaign? If it doesn't have anyone or nobody can review it right, unless it has a winner. That's why I assigned an owner right after assigning the owner. Simple. Let me do the second order. Keep this window like this. Go to the second window. Go to your attestation menu. And here in the campaign, you have to just click on the campaign and click on Create Campaign. Once you do the Clayton comment, I'm giving a campaign name, Flow Manager, alright, baby right, baby. Campaign owner, I'm marking admin as the owner. In the real time, somebody else will be a campaign owner. That is false European. In the campaign type, I am answering simply entitlement owner because you are launching entitlement right. For this entitlement, we are running the campaign. Who is the owner? It learns for this person. Now if I go right, I'm answering the entitlement owner. I'm mentioning this. It should be only for my. To directory application, I'm answering here. You can mention for the all. Simply, you can leave it, not a miss. By default, you can mention as a all. No issue. Now the number of days to expand campaign. I can mention up to 15 days, the campaign will not expire. Within these 15 days, this admin user or the owner of the entitlement of this owner right. This entitlement owner has to review the campaign within this 15 days. After marking that right, now what I'll do, I will write. Scroll down. The bulk option was there right, hide bulk. I'm hiding the bulk, it was nobody. Hide bulk, it was from step 1. Now I cannot take any bulk action, I have to choose one by one in the step 1. After mentioning that, if you scroll down, what is the set if I am mentioning here? Who is the set of here? Select set if I are from the list. Basically, I'll be launching for the only admin user. I'm just clicking the admin user. Admin user for admin user, the campaign will runs. Even if you scroll down right, I don't want to confirm the configuration, I'm simply leaving it. I'm not mentioning anything. Let's see what happened up to that. Now I'll click on the Create Now. I have marked as an entitlement owner right. And I don't know. Click on Create Now. Campaign is being launched now, right? You see the Flow Manager review, it is in progress. It came up if I open it. Now you see. Flow Manager review, it is for admin user. Let me click again on the static by certification name. If I open that right. See, you see there is an entitlement. It came up the same entitlement. How such a word here? If I go to the other into right. I learned the campaign for admin user. But admin is the owner of this entitlement right. Basically, the purpose of the entitlement is to run the entitlement owner. For the owner of the entitlement, if you run for them and what entitlement assigned to them, it will come. Let's say if admin is a part of another entitlement also, that time you will be seeing there is 2 certificate elements. One is for this flow manager, right? And it will be for another user. Now, after opening this right, I will be clicking on this right. Yes, this entitlement belongs to me. I'll be marking it. Once you do that right, ideally it would have come to step 2, basically who are part of this entitlement. I think the step 2 didn't came or what? After mentioning belongs to me, It didn't give me the second window. Let me go back. Go back. Reconfigure it. This floor manager you write. Who are working under that particular entitlement? Step 2 should be there. I'm not hiding that why it is not coming. Doesn't belong to me. But I'm dying. Decommission action. Consider pop-up. Get in there. Here are the things I have to mention. That's right. And I'm not attribute. Account letters should be there. Individual action user comments. Approve. Or is it even mentioned that? And the content element approval. I should mention the account as well as the entire. These two are mentioning bulk action user comment. I can mention approve or as well as reject also. Decommission action, it is not required. I'm not giving entitlement. I can mention here. Entitlement glossary should be soon. And description. And critical, I mentioned these three are true to me. Default set for, I'm not mentioning anything. This is the configuration things I mentioned right. After that, these are the like your reminder email template. We are not attaching any email template because we do not have in the real time. That's why I'm skipping this. I had bulk sheet books. Mistake 1. Step 2 is not there. It is not showing. Step. And after that, consult of all. Next is created with asset product. Set if I can say I don't require this. This much. I think it is fine for us. I'm giving a different name flow manager to a mentioning here. I'm commanding that. Scroll down. And in the certifier right, select setup on the list. I'm choosing it for admission. And now I click on the right now. The flow manager I do too. Came right. Just open the campaign name. And again click on the certificate. Yes, and then once I click that, just select it and mention right. It belongs to me. I'm accepting this. And after selecting this, if you go to the account, you can view now. What will happen will come to that particular entire. This particular entire 9 account, it has the access. Selector like mention like this test 1, 2, 3. It has access to this entire, right? This is true. I'm approving this thing. I'm submitting it. Mentioning the comment. This is being set up, right? Same way, I'm answering this. And it is the right. It isn't required this actually. I'll say it doesn't. It was the access. Simply, I'm submitting it from denying access for this. John, much user to this entitlement. And same way I'm active, approving this thing. I'll mention like approving. Even I can do the bulk 6 in the step 2. Right. Or simple. I can mention as approved. Let me approve this thing and the case. See what user? I'm telling you, I'm not required. Submitting it. And in the case user, I'm taking approving action. If you see, there is another condition and certify. What this condition certify would happen. I can keep the user access, let's say. But this is Daniel's cable user. I know. She is going to leave the company another 5 days. What I can do? I can do a condition certify. I can mention today that June 27. Right? I can mention here. After 4 days, I was living. July 3rd, this access will remove foreign. Approving on a conditional basis. Immediate. The task will not trigger for him on July 7th only, right? Or July 3rd only. The access for the analyst killer will get removed. That thing I'm mentioning as a condition. Even we have a console. What this console will have. If I'm not sure about the access of this user. Let's say Maureen. This user has access to my entitlement. I'm not sure if Maureen needed access to my entitlement or not. This time I can consult it to another person, that Adam C, and submit it. Basically what will happen, Adam C will take access, right? Or Adam will take action for this user. For this user, more this thing we can do it, or simply I can approve it. Anything is required. Anything is fine. Once I do that, for this last year, also I'm mentioning I'm approving the case. You have the option to conditional certify as well as to consult. You can consult or any other user. Now you've got the message like the certification is locked. And I have taken all the action. Now I can click on the finish access review. Do you want to lock? That is an yes. Now I have locked that assistant. Right? It is feeling fully executed. This is how you can take an action on the campaign. The campaign step is very simple. Right? It's not that much of a complicated, but while troubleshooting the issue, you might face a lot of issue. What I mean? In the real time, it happened, right? That is a manager. Let's say not a manager. I'll talk about a vice president. Or I'll talk about like direct. Under the director, how many users or employee or manager are there? You are launching a campaign for him. Right. Let's say under him 700 people are recording, right? And you will learn Scamper for 700 people. Let's say campaign launched successfully for 700 user, but only 650 manager under walking him under him, or 60-50 people got notification that the campaign has been launched, right? But another 50 user doesn't get the notification, that Indian the notification that time. You have to find it manually. You have to write up a query again using packing, helping, taking help of your analytic report. First for which user? Right? The campaign didn't launch or the email didn't figure for him. This is like a tedious task. You have to find it right. For which user the campaign didn't launch a reel, I heard max your or if you are launching a campaign for 5000 minutes. Out of that, 3 people person. The campaign didn't. Let's widen plans, maybe because of system glitch, right? Or the manager may be inactive that time, or the manager was, marked as a delegation person whom the delegated. The delegated person, is not active. That time this might come right. You have to make sure the campaign learns properly for the not to be a stocks deficiency. You should be a stocks compliance, right? Not the fixings. That is why, while launching a campaign for your real angle, you should be very, very careful while answering the campaign, and you should know the correct thing over there. And you have to take the help of your analytic report to analyze the campaign. It is learns properly or not if you go back. Let's say I'm going here. If you go to N, there might be already campaign related thing will be there campaign right. Campaign state. You can simply run a campaign status report if you open the report. What query it is utilizing. See, it is giving all the campaign status here. It has a query which can get an end campaign status is stored in the complicated if 7 minutes expired, if 6 minutes discontinued. And it is getting the data from which table right. If you go down right, there have a conduction queries. Union queries there. Not only one query. Inside one query, they have another query. This is like a sum of the out-of-the-box queries there which you can, configure and check it and utilize this as per your requirement. Even you can modify the query also. This analytic and analytic report and your attestation campaign both work together. To find out any discrepancy, you have to take a help from your analytic and this attestation. Utilizing the table like your certification campaign, right user? This 3. Table it basically, or you have like, if I go back to here, certification under screen users underscore account, many tables are there. If you go here, certification says campaign did. A lot of table are there. Certification underscore in account and the score entitlement status. Basically, which entitlement belongs to what account and what is the status. You can see over here. All this table will be helpful, right? While you are launching a campaign or even you're troubleshooting the issue. It's a certificate. Is an user underscore account and status. These table give you the information right. The user who's part of what campaign and what is that account status. The user were a part of the certificate right or campaign. What is their status? Or simple, if you talk about like there is a camp and table also like which content all your certificate. That table also, it will be there right for you. You have to see campaign, is there right? A lot of table will be there. Even set normal certification table will be there. This certification campaign means you can bundle of 5 certificate in a single campaign. That is how the relation. You will have a campaign number. That campaign number will be linked to your certificate. If you go back to the column, you see the certification key as well as the campaign key. You will see here. Using this key, you have to build up your query. And who certify the things, who doesn't certify, every information will be here. Once you do the practical thing or work in a real-time environment, you will get all this table knowledge. And it won't make much more difficult for you. It will be very easy. This is how we deal with U3. A, like you're creating campaign, we have another campaign, right? But it is a similar way, same way when the role on the campaign. If you have a role, basically that will help you to determine role on a campaign. Service account and organization, or it is not being used that much. Only your entitlement and user management is mostly widely used everywhere. Role owner, basically which role I am part of that, right? You can view. But before that, it should have some proper role, right? If I open here and the poetry, this role, right? If I go to one, let's say there is a role, right? This analyst level, and I should have a role owner first, right? There is no role. You can assign a role owner here. I had a role owner, right? And after doing that, you can go to the attestation again, right? And go to the campaign. Click on the campaign and create a campaign. And here you should give the name as a role owner. Once you do that, if you scroll down right, do all the configuration and go to the select a tip and select a tip from the list. Basically, you have a role owner for that, right? And you have to pick the owner here. Let's say this Adams is a runner-up at all. And if you choose this Adam C, as Adam C is the owner of one role, this role on the campaign will come for him. And under that role, how many entitlement are there? What are the things that they write if I go to the role? Right. If I open the analyst level to the role, basically what this role contain? It contain again entire role, right? All this entitlement does belong to you or not. You can review it and you can take action on that. This is how you can deal with the role owner. Do the practice of role owner and let me know if you required any help on that. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.